What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Club and Country. This is episode number 42, and we started today's episode off with our rival clash. Yes, Athletic Bilbao away from home. Of course, if you missed the last season, we found out that Athletic Bilbao are listed in the game as our rivals. So we take on Athletic Bilbao away from home. So far, our record against this team is played 2, 1-0, drawn 1, and lost 1. As we come away from home as well, the one loss we had last season against them was away from home. So wasn't really fancying my chances, to be honest, but we are on a 7-game unbeaten run and a 7-game run of consecutive clean sheets as well. So coming into this game, even though I didn't really fancy my chances of too much going our way, I couldn't see too much going against our way either, because Ruben Blanco, who makes a very good save there in the opening couple of minutes, is in inspired form and the defence is looking very tight. So I thought if we can grind out a 4th consecutive 0-0 draw, it may not be very exciting, but I'll still be pretty pleased with it, to be honest. And the first chance you saw there did fall to Athletic Bilbao, but Ruben Blanco made the save. And in the 35th minute here, Andy Caper goes down the right hand side, tried to catch the goalkeeper out the near post, but it hit the side netting and went behind for a goal kick. So still goalless in this game, but 3 minutes after the restart we won ourselves a free kick just outside the area here. And Ronnie Ariaguza, who's got 1 goal for the club, he scored a penalty a few episodes ago. Of course, our 17-year-old now fresh out of the academy, wearing the captain's armband. He's going to lead this team for future years to come. Almost grabs himself his first goal against our rivals there from a free kick. It hits the bar and is cleared away. So what a memorable goal that would have been. Unfortunately, it was still goalless. But in the 69th minute here, Athletic Bilbao come forward and Gomez hits the post himself. So twice the woodwork was struck in this game, once by either side. But the game did finish as a goalless draw. And again, I can only apologise because that is now 4 goalless draws in a row. And you must be sitting there watching these videos and thinking, are we going to get any goals in these episodes? You know, it's absolutely ridiculous. But regardless, as I said before, you know, yes, we are struggling to score. Yes, we are struggling to get ourselves goals on the board, which, believe it or not, is quite important in football. It's still worth remembering that these results are good. You know, these are really decent results against very decent teams, and I know it may not be exciting and I know it may not be the most entertaining thing to watch, but the most important thing about this series is progression. And when you're getting these goalless draws against these, you know, let's be honest, better teams than you have to say that we are clearly making strides in defence. I mean, that's 8 consecutive clean sheets in a row. That's pretty impressive with this team, so it's not too bad, and you got to look at the positives, not the negatives. But still, following that, we saw that Slovenia came to us and said, would you manage our nation? And of course we said no. And also Ronnie Ariaguza said he didn't want to play in this game against SD Eibar at El Sardinero because this was being played in midweek. And I said, yeah, fine, I'll give you a rest. Again, I mentioned this in the last episode and the episode before that. The stamina with this team is really poor. So many players with really low stamina ratings. And it does mean that constant rotation is required, which is never nice. But one player that did start in the absence of a player getting rested was Mariano. And he gave us the lead 12 minutes in. So finally, for the first time in 5 games, we get ourselves a goal. It is Mariano putting the ball past the goalkeeper and making it 1-0 to Racing Santander. And a really nice little chip over the top by Keiko as well into Mariano, and that's a brilliant finish too. Buena Casa, worth mentioning, has only scored 3 goals since coming in this season, so that's not a really good start for him. So Mariano getting a goal there does make me think possibly it might be worth having a change at personnel leading the line. So Mariano makes it 1-0 to Racing Santander, and in the 30th minute here, Keiko almost made it 2-0, but the shot was blocked. However, it fell to Mariano, who smashed it in and made it Racing Santander 2, Eibar 0. So, like London buses, you wait a long time for them, and eventually 2 come at the same time. So, Mariano turning the ball in there after Keiko's challenge, right into the back of the net, and it's Racing Santander 2, Eibar 0. So, 2 goals to the good in this game, looking very threatening early on. And, you know, again, after 4 consecutive 0-0 draws in a row, we needed some goals, and Mariano was the one providing it. So, 2-0 to us. In the 37th minute, Eibar went close there with a shot on the volley, going just over the bar and behind for a goal kick. And in the 45th minute on the stroke of half time, I get the ball away stupidly with Albin Toza, and thankfully for us the follow-up shot goes over and behind for a goal kick. So it's still 2-0 to the home side, looking very threatening though. Eibar coming back into this game, trying to grab themselves a goal and a route back into the match, and they get very close again here in the 67th minute. Again, Ruben Blanco called into action, looking for his 9th consecutive clean sheet, which is crazy, but it was still 2-0. And with 10 minutes to go before the end of the game, Eibar come forward again here. desperate to get themselves a route back into this game. The number 2 for them chips it inside, and eventually, as you'll see them work their passes inside of the box, the shot is taken by Docal, and it finds the back of the net, and Racing Santander concede for the first time in 8 games, which is a real shame because we were holding on for the clean sheet. I was desperate to get another one, but unfortunately for us, the pressure told in the end. They were looking quite threatening, and in the end they deserved to get themselves a goal, and they did. So Docal scoring and making it Racing Santander 2, Eibar 1. But it was how the game would finish, so the 3 points were the most important thing. The unbeaten streak gets extended, and we keep on going with this very good run of form right now. And as I've mentioned several times over, we may not be making incredible progression at a rapid rate. You know, we may not be signing 85 plus rated players every single transfer window, but you know, the squad is getting a little bit stronger. It's showing in the results. We're playing better football, even if, you know, we did have that barren run of games where we didn't score any goals. You know, we are still looking a better team now, and it's really good to know that this progression is showing. And I said it a few times before now, one of the best things about this series is that you really do feel like you're achieving something. You know, it's a video game obviously, but you still feel like you're achieving something working with a really poor team to begin with no money whatsoever. But regardless, we take on Villarreal for the third and final game of today's episode here. So last season we finished in 6th, Villarreal finished in 5th as Sevilla pipped them to the final Champions League place in La Liga. So taking on Villarreal here, I was hoping to basically show them that this year, as they've had a very poor start to the season, not even in the top half so far, that this year we want to be improving and keep on making the progression I was just talking about, and actually, you know, challenging for 5th place this year and getting a little bit better. And the first chance did fall to us here, Hector Bellerin's shot being well saved by the goalkeeper and turned away. So it's still 0-0, but the first chance coming to us is always nice. In the 15th minute, another great chance here. Mariano keeping his place in the first team finds Keiko. Lovely ball over the top towards Oliver Torres here, and Torres' strike goes wide and behind for a goal kick. So another good chance there, but Oliver Torres, who just hasn't really worked out too well for us so far, can't hit the target. So still 0-0 in this game. And in the 44th minute here, as Almontosa makes a challenge, Clint Dempsey wins it back, crosses the ball in, and Vieto at the far post hits the post with his header, and we get the ball away. So still 0-0 there, but a lot of chances for both teams in the first half, mainly to us though. And 9 minutes after the restart, Villarreal had themselves a free kick. They chip it inside. Eventually it comes to Clint Dempsey, who finds Perez, and his shot is well saved by Ruben Blanco, and he also saves the follow-up header as well. So our young goalkeeper making a very good stop there and keeping it goalless. And just past the hour mark here, Villarreal are on the ball again. Aquino into Costa. Costa keeps hold of the ball and plays it inside to Trigueros. Then to Vieto to Dos Santos. Jonathan Dos Santos off the bench finds Clint Dempsey. Back to Dos Santos, and his strike goes just over the bar. So Villarreal looking very threatening in the second half, but 5 minutes later, as the ball gets played forward here, Vigas wins this header and it comes to Sergio Buenacasa off the bench. He chips it forward towards Oliver Torres, and Oliver Torres gets his second goal for the club, and I am so relieved because this guy has felt like a bit of a white elephant. I know I've used that phrase a couple of times now, but he's felt like a bit of a white elephant, you know, coming in here, taking a 60 grand a week contract, and you know, that has been more of a liability than his asset, because his asset is that he's a very skilled young player. We haven't really seen that this season. We've only seen it on a couple of occasions, just flashes of talent here and there. He hasn't really done too much for us, so he's been a little bit more of a liability, to be honest, paying so much to his salary from this club. But there he does get the goal. He does make it 1-0. That is exactly what we need to see on a more regular basis for the guy. And at half time, I made the switch, put Keiko out on the wing and Torres through the middle, and you know, I do feel a lot more confident playing Torres through the middle. I know I mention it every single episode and you must get sick of me saying it, but I still aren't sure what his best position is, whether it's out wide or through the middle. But in this game, you know, after I switched him to play central in the second half, he looked much more effective there, and I think I am going to have to sacrifice playing Keiko on the left side and Oliver Torres through the middle to get the best out of him. But in the 77th minute, after we went on the counter, Andy Caper sealed the points for us here, making it Villarreal 0, Racing Santander 2. Absolutely fantastic work from Alvaro down the left hand side as well. Brought him off the bench. His pace is electrifying when you bring off the bench. His pace doesn't actually seem that much, but for some reason he's one of those players on FIFA that moves faster than his pace rating suggests. I don't know why that is. You know, there are some players who actually go slower, even though they seem really rapid based on their stats. He's one of those that seems a lot quicker, but still, Kepa makes it 2-0 there. Villarreal 0, Racing Santander 2. The final chance did fall to Villarreal, but the shot went over the bar, so we get ourselves the win. We return to our clean sheet ways, and we make it 2 wins from 2. Great to see Oliver Torres scoring, and the Kepa putting the icing on the cake. Ruben Blanco getting a clean sheet was lovely as well, and that was much better from our young man, playing through the middle in the second half. He looked a lot more threatening, but still, that did end the episode. So as always, a big thank you for watching the video, guys. I really do hope you have enjoyed it. If you enjoyed today's episode, then please do leave a like, because it is much appreciated, and it really does help my channel out. And I'll see you for the next episode of Club and Country very soon.